good afternoon. I'm Mahalia Joseph. C News is live at noon.
And I'm Nasira Mohammed with sports.
The fallout from the finance minister's 000 comments continues unabated this morning, with the unions threatening action and the PSA calling for a boycott on voting for the PNM in the local government elections. Here's Roger Dorica with the story.
Zero tolerance for 000 comments. That the stance of the CWU, who zeroed in on the finance minister's 3-second soundbite.
I've already told the trade unions that from 2017 to 2020 our offer will be 000.
In a sense, he's saying there was an agreement between somebody and the government to exercise a wage restraint. I would like the minister to say who we agreed to with that, who we agreed that with.
However, Mr. Remy said for his union, the zero offer in essence signaled something that relates to the whole labour collective.
That little press conference he called subsequent to that is nothing, because it has done nothing. It has made it worse, because you talk about we are going to put 000 on the table. Come on, who the minister is trying to fool?
The fallout has been widespread, with the comments going viral on social media. The PSA have also warned of possible social unrest.
We could see people too acting out of fear, acting out of frustration, and violence will grow 10 times more on the street because they are not governing this country.
From an economic point of view, the comments translate into a picture of the economy and what's the government's current position.
There can be no increases. There's likely to be no real increases in their income in the short term, shortly over the next 3 years.
Mr. Imber did, however, attempt to clarify his words, saying 000 doesn't mean wage freeze. However, for the unions, the stance they're taking appears to be absolute zero on that statement. Roger Dwarica, C News Live.
The chairman of the United National Congress, David Lee, says the government has again betrayed the people of the country by signaling its intention to implement a wage restraint for public servants for the bargaining period 2017 to 2020. In a statement, he said it is even more unfortunate and insulting to the national public that the Minister of Finance has tried to disguise the true effects or outcomes of his statement by saying this does not mean a wage freeze, while in essence and economic language, both terms have the same operational meaning. Mr. Lee said, similar to what the nation has consistently witnessed in the past 13 months, the current administration, without warning, consultation, nor implementation of alternative measures of relief, is intent on implementing another draconian policy, which will no doubt further rattle the impact the already reduced standard of living experienced by the population. The Prison Officers Association says the Minister of Finance should not have made such statements at this time. The association president, Saren Richards, told C News negotiations must appear to be free and fair, but when a position is taken that does not show this, it can hamper the negotiating process. He said it can lead to an exercise of futility if decision is made before both sides have to present their case.
Yes, because you see, you have to give the appearance that these negotiations are free and fair from influence. Of course, we know the CEO's boss will always be Minister of Finance, Public Admin, and so on. But at the same time, as government, you should not appear to be interfering with the freedom of the exercise. You call the negotiation process.
Explained that the matter is not over just yet.
Evaluate this further, we have to look and see. We'll be writing the CPO soon on the negotiation process and the commencement of negotiations and so on. We will look and see what is taking place, but certainly I think the statement made by the minister was a bit premature. I think it will not lend anything positive to the negotiation process, and to put it simply, that statement shouldn't have been made.
And fire officers have described as damaging the statements made by the Minister of Finance. President of the Fire Officers Association, Leo Ramkisoon, told us Minister Colm Imbert breached an agreement made with the Joint Trade Union Movement, a body the fire officers belong to. The arrangement was that consultations with the body would take place before any decision like this is taken.
What the minister did was breach the tenets of that agreement by making that statement without any consultation whatsoever It will have a far-reaching implication, that statement. The second issue is that by making that statement, he would have interfered with the negotiation process. Just by making the statement that they're starting at zero without us having an opportunity to initiate the negotiations with the chief personnel officer.
Mr. Ramkisoon said a meeting with the members of the fire officers will take place before the end of the week to hear what they have to say.
Given the economic position of the country, fire officers have been very accommodative with the various measures in terms of not paying the arrears owed and not acceding to many of our requests. We found that to be disingenuous. It's really troubling to see that the minister expressing that kind of attitude in making those statements. It's as if he doesn't care about the livelihood of fire officers.
You're watching the C News live report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at C News Live. And continuing on the topic, the Finance Minister's announcement of a wage restraint will not stop the police service from continuing their wage negotiations. This, as head of the Police Social and Welfare Associations, Mr. Michael Seals, says their ongoing negotiations falls outside of the time period given by the Finance Minister.
I heard him speak specifically 2017 to 2020. What it means for us is that he's speaking about that period. Our period is really from 2014 to 2016, and we will be trying to push the envelope in order to get the best package for police officers for the triennium that comes to an end December 31st.
A government with no vision for the country. That's how the political leader of the Congress of the People describes the Keith Rowley-led administration. As he slammed the Finance Minister, Colm Imbert, for suggesting a wage restraint, he said the government seems to be only keen on borrowing money locally and internationally while stifling the people. He said he believes that the announced wage restraint for all public employees is just another step in government strategy of attacking the incomes of all workers to impose the burden of adjustment on this segment of the population.
If it is accepted, it's going to be used by private employers across the country, so the whole country, all the people who are working are really going to be having almost no increase in their salaries over the next 2 or 3 years. What PNM is supposed to have been doing, and they have never done it, is to give us their plan for the future, how we are going to raise foreign exchange, how we are going to have more money circulating in the country so that people can increase their happiness rating.
In his release, he points out that this is the same government which claimed that if it was not carrying out an IMF austerity program, and confirms that the government is lacking in being able to develop any coherent and creative strategy for leading this nation out of recession or bringing it to be sustainable and diversified. Time now for a look at the weather forecast with Ian Wallace.
Rolling clouds coming across western Trinidad will spark a few showers during the afternoon, and during the heat of the afternoon expect some of them to turn heavy or thundery from Diego Martin to San Fernando. Meanwhile, Tobago and the eastern areas of Trinidad should see the best of the sunshine. It will feel pleasant with a high of 32 degrees Celsius. For sailors, look for southeasterly winds of 10 to 15 knots and only a few whitecaps expected with wind waves of 1 to 1.5 meters and northeasterly swells of 8 to 10 seconds. Tide is low at 12:30 p.m., then high at 6:30 p.m. That is the latest weather, and I am meteorologist Ian Wallace.
Head of the Police Social and Welfare Association, Michael Seals, says the acting police commissioner's warning to police officers was long in the making. On Wednesday, the acting commissioner, Stephen Williams, warned that officers who are deemed to be underperforming will either be fired or denied promotion. He made the comments as he lamented on the low detection rate of crime by the police service. In a telephone interview with C News this morning, Mr. Seals said some of the behavior that's being complained about has been encouraged by the service.
The behavior was encouraged. It was encouraged by omission, by not doing anything or speaking out or trying to treat it. It was encouraged. So, as I said, it is a little bit too late now for to take that big stick approach to try to motivate the troops.
He's not too sure whether the warning will work or not, but he hopes officers take heed.
In a normal understanding of these things from a human resource aspect, you would normally get resistance. What I hope and pray is that, at least officers try to commit themselves to really listen to what the commissioner wants to do and not look at the language that he would have used to try to get it done.
Shirley King, better known as Beulah, will be laid to rest today following a funeral service at the St. Philip's and St. James Catholic Church at 2 p.m. The 73-year-old died on Monday. She was one of Trinidad and Tobago's iconic actresses. Beulah has 3 children, 2 adopted and 1 biological son. She was at her home in Cunupia when she took in ill during the early hours of Monday morning. She was taken to the Chaguanas Health Facility where she died shortly before 8 a.m. Beulah battled several medical issues for years, including diabetes, high blood pressure, osteoarthritis, bronchitis, and asthma. 3 months ago, she suffered a stroke and was hospitalized for over 2 months before being discharged and placed in a nursing home. To some other news now, escaped prisoner Sheldon Lendo is reportedly shot and killed by police. C News understands he was shot on Wednesday at around 5 p.m. He was wounded in the incident and taken to hospital. The 37-year-old, said to be from Capdeville, Point Fortin, died while undergoing treatment. Lendo escaped police custody on August 23rd while he was being treated at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex. He was held for allegations of robberies and firearm-related offenses. A car explodes in Orapun Gardens. A video was posted on social media site Twitter this morning. Fire officers were seen battling the blaze. C News understands that no one was reported injured during the incident. The Congress of the People says they are ready to contest the November 28th local government elections. They will, however, not contest all 135 electoral districts, and leader of the COP, Dr. Anirudh Mahabir, says that cost is a heavy factor.
We do have our slate of candidates, and I must confess that, like I've been saying over the last few days, we only have about 8 or 10 people who are going up for us in few seats. And it is not that we do not have people who are supporting us in other areas, but, and I'm going to say this fairly, we do not have the money to fight 135 seats. Even just paying the EBC for 135 seats is going to be almost $200,000. We are going in an area where we can make a difference.
The idea, Dr. Mahabir says, is to expand slowly from a kernel of support in the Tunapuna-Piako region and spread out to cover all corners of the country.
We are not thinking in terms of 1 year and 2 years and 3 years. Our plan is longer than that. We are going to be building slowly but solidly and surely to the point where in the next 4 or 5 years we'll make a difference in who becomes the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Our major thrust is in the Piako, Tanapuna area. And the main reason is that, first of all, we have a presence there, MP Ramada, and we have had presence there before. We've had Tanapuna, we've had Arima, we've had Mr. Douglas.
Dr. Mahabir says they have learned the lesson that politics is a long-term venture and any party or politician is going to be in the trenches for extended periods of time before achieving success. And the Oilfield Workers Trade Union says long overdue negotiations between itself and the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission are expected to come to a close today. A meeting is scheduled for 2 p.m. at the company's Mount Hope offices. Following this meeting, where both parties will review the mutually agreed to documents, OWTU President General Ansel Roger will make an official statement. He said he would also give an official response to the Minister of Finance's plan to implement a wage freeze in 2017. Come Friday, Scotiabank in Trinidad will have new banking hours. In a statement, it said all its branches will be open all day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. However, in Tobago, service will continue with their normal times of 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The banks said previously the branches closed on Fridays between 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and now with the introduction of new banking hours on Fridays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They are providing customers with greater convenience and ease of doing business. Now Nasira is here to tell us what's happening in sport, and you can guess it is good news because she is sporting maroon. Nasira, tell us what's happening.
Definitely, Mahalia. It's a victory for the West Indies. Finally in test match, in or outside of home, and 26 years outside of the Caribbean region in defeating Pakistan.
In a look at some news back at home, members of the Public Services Association's General Council, who claim they were debarred from a meeting today, says they are fed up of the leadership of the association and wants the president, Watson Duke, to step down. Speaking to the media outside of the PSA headquarters on Abercrombie Street in Port of Spain, chairperson of the public health sector of the PSA, Curtis Cuffey, said the General Council of the PSA is not accounting for the finances of their membership and is also allowing members with criminal charges to lead the association.
With matters in accordance to the Constitution.
And money is being spending. And we cannot be spending our money, and we cannot account. The General Council to account for. The members need to know that $100 right now is very important. $100, we could do many things. We could put it in the credit union, but we choose to put it in our union here to defend ourselves in the midst of anything on our job. And it has not been well spent, because what I am saying, Mr. Duke is not giving any representation.
Chairman of the Point Fortin section, Judy Davidson, called on public service members to vote out the current executive in the 2017 PSA elections. Well, that brings us to the end of the C News Report at noon. I'm Mahalia Joseph.
And I'm Nasira Mohammed.